My wife, 32, and I, 33, married over 2 years ago, and she is still salty about what my parents wore to the wedding. My dad wore jeans with a blazer, and my mom wore a Patagonia, like vest under a silk shirt that was clearly visible, and Crocs. I understand that was definitely not wedding appropriate attire, and I did tell them what to wear. However, having dealt with them my entire life, I cannot say I'm surprised. She says she is upset because our wedding photos were not nice to look at, and she never framed them. My dad also yelled at the waiter, which was bad. Yes, but she didn't know until after the wedding, and my sister managed to get him under control so it didn't impact the wedding. We fought about this a few days at the end of the wedding, but it died down and we stopped discussing it, partly because my parents lived 7 hours away, so she never interacted with them after the wedding. She told me then she wasn't visiting my family, and I took it to mean that year, which was fine as the memory was too fresh, but she actually meant never. We had our son 8 months ago, and she refuses to come to see my parents for the holidays. I would understand if it was that she wasn't feeling well, but she is feeling amazing because she hiked for hours the previous weekend and wants to go skiing again this season. She basically just doesn't want to interact with my family. My parents are not easy to deal with. My dad is not friendly, and he is bitter from being unaccomplished. So that basically has left him with a miserable attitude. However, visiting once a year and sucking it up for a few hours a day when he hasn't actually blown up or made comments towards my wife beyond at the beginning, when he said he doesn't liking her profession and not to her face, doesn't seem unreasonable for her to dislike him that much. But she refuses, and traveling with an 8-month-old is incredibly difficult. She is still breastfeeding him, but has some frozen milk built up and thinks I should accept her not wanting to visit my parents by either bringing the frozen milk to feed him for a few days, or I go alone. I try to tell her it is really rude not to at least try to get along, and if there is a fight, she won't need to interact with them again. But she straight up refuses. I feel like I'm being made the asshole for expecting her to do this, but speaking with colleagues and close friends, most have family they do not like, and most do not like their in-laws, and still make an effort to at least go once a year. But my wife says they ruined her wedding photos, so she not visiting them makes them even